Yo, what's up vlog? Welcome to competition week. I just realized I didn't film an intro for this week's vlog, but I'll give you a quick little update. This week is all of my competitions, Monday through Thursday, for just like vols, lead ups, and ops. So I hope you guys enjoy all of the clips, and I'll talk to you guys through them. This was my first dive of the day on my very first day. It's a little synchro with my coach, Emma, and it was a fun time being able to share the pool with her. Then I started with some back dives. That was a really good entry for my first one of the day. And then here's another one. Still pretty good, a little bit fluffier than the last one, but still pretty nice. And it was a similar trend throughout. We did about 4 of each vol, and then we did 4 of each 103 or 203, 303, 403. And then I put it together into a list format at the very end of this competition to show you guys what it would look like in a list. Obviously, there was no twister for this day, and it's a very simple list, clearly, but at least you see what it would be like if I competed it all the way through. Now, looking back at these reverse dives, that one's pretty clean entry, just a little bit far out, a little bit archy throughout the whole dive, but they're not terrible at all. They're very consistent compared to how they normally been. And to be honest, I wish I just did my competition on this day because my competitions towards the later in the week got progressively worse and worse. This was a great day because there was no sun in the water, there was nothing to worry about, and I wish I would have just competed on like this day. But here's some 303s. I'm getting a nice kick, a nice stretch out. I could be a little bit more confident on all of them and having a more secure hurdle, but there's not really too much to worry about here. They were all pretty decent. And yeah, let's move on to our inwards. I did some inward 1.5 pikes. Since I didn't know if I wanted to do inward dive tug or pike, I just kind of switched straight over to 403B. And then this one was probably my worst one. I feel like I pushed back a decent ways, but it's always something to think about, always something to focus on. Definitely something I can fix in the future. And then I finished up with some 103s. These aren't terrible, but they're not perfect either. I wish I went up a little higher, spun a little faster, had a little tighter entry. But then again, that's what every single diver wishes for all of their dives. But I was also thinking about it's almost time for the competition. So I was excited for that. And after this dive is when I start. So wish me luck. Here we go. I started off with this nice back dive. I felt like it was pretty decent to start off the list with. And then this is my back 1.5. And yeah, it's pretty good. It goes up to a nice spot, rotates pretty good, and I had a good entry, still a little loose on it. This is my reverse dive. I touched at a nice spot, got a decent entry that was fairly close to the board, so I was happy with that. And then here's my 303. This was my worst dive of the meet, I think. Yeah, I had a nice top, nice kick out. I just went long. And I'm not going to expect a perfect meet every time, especially on these community boards, but that's good. Inward 1.5. And then this was my final front 1.5, and it was pretty decent. Moving on to the next day of competition, this was actually not a competition day. I hadn't done many inwards this entire summer, so I figured I'd do just an inward specific day. So I started with some front 1.5s. I played some catch with one of my friends at the pool, and then I got back to the list. When I did these inwards, I noticed that I was falling back from the board. I need to be more patient and stay over top of that board. That was my first one of the day, first one in a couple days anyway, and it was pretty decent. That's another decent one. I still feel like I could stay over it more, and I feel like if I was back on my boards at Notre Dame's pool, I'd be perfectly fine. I just was a little bit skeptical about these boards, and overall, not the best reps. Oh, a little transition. Woo, that was pretty tough. And yeah, now it was time for my lead up day. So this is my 3-meter list, but clearly there's no 3-meter. So I just did a bunch of the lead ups on 1 meter. I was going to do double out lead ups today, but I didn't get to them, maybe because you saw the last video on my double outs into the pit weren't perfect. It's definitely something I want to do on an actual dry board into a foam pit, but I'm not too scared of it anymore. I'm ready to get to work on it. But these back 1.5 pikes were not terrible. They weren't great, but not terrible. They had decent entries, all very, very consistent, so I was happy with them. And then I moved on to these back double pikes. That was my worst one. It was pretty slow, but not too terrible of a problem. That one was better. if you're a Wolverine diver and you saw me do these one of the last times I did them outside of Notre Dame, you guys can attest that I flopped on my back pretty hard when I did it because I was spinning so fast. Oh, these 303Bs are not pretty, but that's not too terrible. I'm doing that same knee bend that I talked about a couple of videos ago on the trampoline, but these are all very consistent and I can't really complain about them simply because of my situations in this pool. So moving on, I think I start to do some 304Bs in this next rep or so. And these were okay. I'm still doing that knee bend. I'm going pretty slow. I'm getting kind of high, but I'm not rotating fast at all. And something that you kind of want to do on 305B on 3 meter is rotate and be able to push those toes to your spot that you want to be at. But nonetheless, I still did the reps on these boards, and it'll prepare me well for when I get back to campus. I still wish I had a little bit more consistent hurdle, a little bit straighter legs coming up off that springboard, but overall I'm not too mad. Then these 105Bs for lead ups for 107Bs were spinning pretty nicely. I wish I hit the better line on these hurdles, but it's not too terrible. I felt like my come out positions and everything were pretty nice. Yeah, nothing too serious to worry about there. And then for these 403Bs, kind of continuing off of the previous day, some minor turns, minor pushbacks in the hip, but I felt like I went up to a better spot than the previous day, which is all I can really ask for. So yeah, I was happy with those. And then this is the last one. Let's see if it was good. Kind of mid. All right, what's up, vlog? We have been having a great week of training, and tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow is my competition. It's what I'm gonna call it, my competition. It's not a real competition. It's just me, myself, and I. I'm gonna do a little warm up and then hit all my ops on 1 meter. And as you might have seen in the previous video, or maybe it's this video, I don't know, they're all starting to get jumbled together. My 107s, I only did 1 day of them, but I'm gonna throw it in the competition tomorrow because why not? I felt like today was an okay practice, and we'll see how it goes, so wish me luck. All right, chat, this is what I've been seeing for the past couple weeks now. This is the view. It looks pretty nice. It's a nice diving board, but as you can see, what I was talking about with the numbering, a little bit goofy, but it kind of works, I guess. It's not as bouncy, but what I'm worried about today is look at this water rippling. Like, do you see how like it's like having a mirage effect? I hope I don't get lost while I'm diving, because today's the competition, the biggest competition of my life. And if it messes me up, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm just kidding, I won't be mad at all. But I hope it's a great practice. I don't think that should bother me at all. We're just gonna make our own luck. It was now time to start the warm-ups, and I did one lineup on the front direction, one lineup on the back direction, and then I went straight to it. No lead-ups allowed, just 2 of each optional for the warm-up, and I started to think that was a really terrible idea after this first back 2.5. But I had already committed to it, and so I hit another back 2.5, and this one was actually pretty fantastic, and I was happy with it. And then I moved on to reverses, and then I thought maybe I should have done a reverse double to start, because that one went pretty darn short. It was a good takeoff, though. I felt like I had a good setup, started my knees really well, and the similar thing with this one, but it just come out crooked. I don't know why. I got to fix that real soon at Notre Dame. And then I did some front 2.5s. That was the first one of the day, not too terrible, but this second one definitely goes up to a slightly better spot. Nice consistent hurdle on that, nice straight line. And then the full outs. I probably should have done a lead up before this one. It goes very far long. I lost my legs a little bit on that entry, and a very similar thing happens on the second one, but luckily I fixed it up in my competition, so I was happy with that. Then I hit some inwards. This one spun really fast, but I lost myself going long a little bit, and a similar thing on this one, but then again it bettered up in the competition. And then here's the 107s. Yeah, this warm-up was rough. I had no warm-up at all, just chucked the 107s for this first day, and as you can see, it didn't work out. Chat, I think that's a failed dive. Please wish me luck in the meet. Oh my gosh, here we go. Well, it was time for the competition. Back 2.5, first dive up. And I actually kind of smoked this one. I was kind of happy with it, especially after that 107. I did not have any confidence going into this competition. And then the reverse 2.5, well, it was not good. It was not good. I'm just going to be honest, it wasn't good. But it wasn't terrible. It was not good. And then I did my front 2.5 pike. Goes straight up into a beautiful spot. A little bit long on the entry, but I was definitely happy with that takeoff. And then the full out, much better than warm-ups. It goes long again, but I was way tighter, and it was pretty a decent dive. And now it was time for the 107. Here it goes. Yay, it was way better than in the warm-ups, and so I was happy with it. I finished on this 405C that was also better than warm-up, so I'll be happy with that list. Now for a little bit of fun, I always ride the slide at the end of the summer, and it was a fun time. I threw my chamois down like it was 10 meter, and I was ready to rock.
All right, guys, the ride still doesn't disappoint. A couple of thousand years later, I'm getting older every day, but I'm still having fun. That's the important part. All right. We'll catch you back at home for the full breakdown, but Wasion Pool, peace out.
Yo, what's up, vlog? We've made it to the end of a busy week, and I'm celebrating by a little hot tub trip because that practice kind of cooked me. If you guys saw, I took a little bit of a smacker there on my 107 right before I started the competition, so that wasn't great. Didn't feel good, but that's okay because I still sense it in the meat, which is all that matters. And I did my whole list before I got to college campus, which is more than I could say for last year, since last year my wrist was completely cut and still recovering from surgery. My 1 year anniversary from wrist surgery was on August 8th, and I'm well past that date now, and my wrist is doing great, so I'm very happy to say that. And I'm really excited for my college return. I leave on Sunday. I move in at 1:30 p.m. and then hopefully we get to do some dry land that week. Our pool's reopening sometime after the 24th. So I'm really excited to get back to campus, really excited to see the team and train. We've got one incoming freshman. I can't wait to be of some influence in her diving journey. Hopefully she learns something from us old people. And yeah, we're excited to see where Notre Dame diving goes this season. I feel like we're in a fantastic spot. I know everybody's been training super hard over the summer, so I'm excited, and we'll see how it goes. Thanks for joining on the journey for this summer, and I can't wait to see you guys in the vlogs coming in the coming weeks back on campus. Until then, EJD out.
All right, chat. What's up? It's EJD. D as in dad. Just want to say thanks for hanging with us all season. You were rolling along with EJD that's doing his thing. Great summer of training. Looking forward to a fab year. Peace out.